It was a warm spring day in Baltimore, May 24, 2006, when Rey Rivera came home to an empty house. Her husband, Rey Rivera, had vanished. There was no note, no signs of forced entry. His phone had stopped ringing. The only clue was a hasty call he received earlier in the day, prompting him to dash out the door and never return. Allison didn't know it yet, but her life was about to change forever. And what would follow was a mystery that would baffle detectives, divide experts, and haunt a family for decades. Because how Rey died, where he was found, and what he might have known are questions that remain unanswered to this day. This is the story of the death of Rey Rivera, a case so puzzling it seems designed to remain unsolved. Let's go back to the beginning. Rey Rivera was, by all accounts, a thoughtful, creative, and charismatic man. Born in Puerto Rico and raised in California, Rey had ambitions of being a filmmaker. He was athletic, fluent in Spanish, and had an infectious energy that drew people to him. He moved to Baltimore to be with his wife Allison and took a job with his close friend Porter Stansberry, working as a writer and editor at a financial newsletter company called Stansberry and Associates Investment Research, part of the larger Agora publishing empire. Rey wasn't just writing about stocks. He was crafting stories, editorials, scripts, and ideas that blended his love for storytelling with finance. But Rey was restless. His dream was to create films, not just write about markets, and in early 2006, he began working on a screenplay. Friends say it was an ambitious project, part thriller, part conspiracy tale, filled with coded language, hidden messages, and secret societies. Rey had a creative mind. But some say, maybe he knew too much. On May 16, 2006, Rey and Allison were supposed to leave town for a trip. Just before leaving, something changed. Rey became anxious. He told Allison something was wrong. He felt uneasy, like something bad was about to happen. He was constantly checking the security system, locking doors obsessively. Allison later described it as if he were afraid of someone, but couldn't say who. 8 days later, he vanished. That morning, Rey seemed fine. He spoke with a colleague, made some edits to a film project. At around 4 p.m., he received a call. It lasted only a few seconds. Then, Rey bolted from the house, leaving behind his wallet, glasses, and flip-flops. The call was traced to the Stansberry Company switchboard, but no individual was identified. It was the last time Rey was seen alive. For a week, there was no trace of him. Then, on May 24th, a strange smell in the air drew employees of the Belvedere Hotel to the abandoned meeting rooms on the second floor of the parking garage. Above them was a hole, an opening in the roof of the lower annex. Inside that hole, they found Rey Rivera's body. He had apparently fallen from a great height, crashing through the roof into an unused conference room. But that's where the mystery only deepens. The Belvedere is a historic hotel. Towering above the city, it has multiple rooftop levels and wings, some accessible, some not. But here's the thing. Where Rey's body was found, and where he would have had to jump from, don't quite match up. Investigators tried to reconstruct the fall. If Rey had jumped from the main roof, he'd have to clear 40 feet horizontally just to land where he did. That kind of leap? Physically almost impossible, especially in flip-flops. And no one reported seeing or hearing anything. The location of the hole suggested he fell vertically, from a lower height. But then, how? And why was he even on the roof of the Belvedere in the first place? The Baltimore police initially ruled the death as undetermined. Some suspected suicide. But Rey's family never accepted that. There were just too many questions. His cell phone and glasses were found on the roof, intact. Not a scratch, as if they'd been placed there. His flip-flops were broken, but not the way you'd expect from a violent fall. And his injuries? Severe, but not fully consistent with a high-velocity impact. Then there's the matter of the note. Taped behind Rey's computer was a strange, rambling document, double-sided, folded into a small square and tucked behind the monitor. It was addressed to brothers and sisters, and included a long list of famous names, Freemasons, directors, musicians, and film producers. It referenced movies, historical events, and strange philosophical ideas. It read like a mix of a personal manifesto and a cryptic riddle. Rey's family believes it was part of his creative writing, but some investigators saw it as a possible suicide note. Still, there were no clear admissions, no goodbyes, and crucially, no fingerprints on the note, not even Rey's. Then there's the connection to his workplace. The call that prompted Rey to leave that day came from the company switchboard at Stansberry and Associates, but no one at the company ever admitted to placing it. In fact, shortly after Rey's death, the company lawyered up. Employees were instructed not to speak to police. Why? There's speculation, never confirmed, that Rey may have discovered something sensitive, something someone didn't want made public. Others say it was a tragic coincidence. A creative man under pressure, overwhelmed by stress, who suffered a psychotic break. But neither theory fits all the facts. In 2020, Netflix's series Unsolved Mysteries reignited public interest in the case. Thousands of viewers, amateur sleuths, and independent journalists began dissecting the details. One question that keeps coming up is this: if it was suicide, why would Rey pick the Belvedere? He wasn't known to frequent it. There's no evidence he had a room there or even visited before. Some theorize he was lured there, perhaps to a meeting. Others believe he was chased or coerced onto the roof. But security footage from the hotel? Conveniently missing. The tapes from the rooftop camera were never found, or never turned over. It's a hole in the case that raises more suspicion than answers. Alison Rivera to this day believes Rey was murdered. And she's not alone. Too many questions remain. Too many inconsistencies. The impossible fall, the silent witnesses, the vanished tapes, the lockdown company. Even the medical examiner refused to declare it a suicide. Undetermined is rare. It means something doesn't add up. So what happened to Rey Rivera? Was it a tragic end to a life overwhelmed by pressure? Was he silenced for something he discovered? Was it all coincidence, or part of a larger puzzle yet to be solved? No one knows for sure. But Rey's story remains a haunting reminder of how truth can hide in plain sight, and how some mysteries, even in the age of information, can remain stubbornly out of reach.